What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new video, and today it is time that we do another reaction video. I know I've been doing quite a bit of these lately, but we're at the time of the year where we're getting a lot of major announcements for 2024 that I want to react to most of the announcement videos. And don't worry, there will be a second video today. I've just been a bit busy, so yeah, we're doing another reaction video, and this time for RFK Jr. Now, we saw Biden's announcement video yesterday. That was horrible. That was one of the worst announcement videos I have ever seen. But I want to react to most of them. And hopefully RFK Jr. does, in fact, have something a bit better for a Democrat. Because, boy, that was just terrible. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the Twitter accounts in the description down below. Guys, go follow Real American Politics on Twitter. I recommend it. It's a great follow, great content on that Twitter account, and of course, join the channel today. Guys, just for $3 a month, you would join Real American, which is a phenomenal deal, as it helps support the daily content we all know and love. You love the daily content? Well, that is one of the best ways to support it. So I hope and recommend you join the channel today. Alright, everybody. So this is probably the last reaction video for quite a while, since this is one of the last major announcement videos. So let's just get into it. Yay. RFK. And again, RFK I like. I think he's probably one of the only Democrats that I would consider voting for in a presidential election. I would consider. Don't take that out of context like certain people do. So, it's 2.5 minutes long, so thank goodness it's not as long as Biden's crap. So, let's get into it.
What we need in the United States is not division. What we need in the United States is not hatred. What we need in the United States is not violence and lawlessness.
Okay, so this is the first part, and I knew exactly. He's going to hit the fact that he's a Kennedy. He is the nephew of JFK and is the son of Bobby. So, this is the one thing that RFK does have an advantage over Biden. His last name. And I know the last name of Kennedy doesn't have the same, prowess as it did, let alone 30, 40 years ago. But it still has the name idea of, hey, people know Kennedy. They still like the Kennedy family overall. And he is definitely running the fact that he is the son of Bobby, who probably should have became president in probably 68. But either way, that's a different story for a different time. But either way, this is a good hit. He has to hit the fact this is nostalgia. He's a Kennedy. We got to go back to the 60s where you had JFK, you had Bobby, you had Ted, etc.
But his love and wisdom and compassion toward one another.
Every nation has a darker side.
So this is going to be the one thing with Kennedy that I don't know how people are going to react. So far, it's not been the biggest thing, but it's the voice issue. If you don't know, Kennedy has a problem with speaking. I think it's something with his chords where it's not fully developed or something like that. It just, his voice cords are just out of whack. I don't know for sure, but don't take out of context what I said. But this is the one thing that would hurt Kennedy, I think. But so far actually has it seemed like, where he speaks, but it sounds a bit, like a chain smoker talk. But he really isn't. He's just a guy that has a genetic problem. So I don't know how that's going to impact the race, but we just got to see.
The easiest thing for a politician to do is to appeal to our hatred and our anger and our bigotry and greed and xenophobia and all of the alchemies of demagoguery.
So he's going to be hitting the fact of equality, and I believe him a bit more than I do with Biden when it comes to the equality stuff. I think RFK, he does mean equality for everybody, not just the non-MAGA extremists. Hopefully he doesn't hit anything like that in this announcement video, but when he says equality, I do think he means nobody should be fighting for nonsensical reasons. We should be only unified as Americans. Hopefully that's where he's heading towards, but again, RFK, he's one of the only Democrats that I know is decent on issues, but we just gotta see.
My father and my uncle had a vision for America, a vision of racial harmony, of prosperity for all Americans, of peace in the world, and of...
So, yeah, that's what I thought. He was going to focus on equality for racial homogeneity, which I don't know how much that's really possible, but that's not the point. He is focusing on what a lot of people are nostalgic about, the 60s, with the Kennedys, and the fact they wanted a better America, safer world. They wanted everybody to be have prosperity, excuse me. Now, how much of that's going to work? Well, I should say, how much is enough to win an election? Yes, the Kennedy name, like I said, it still has some oomph to it, but I don't know if enough people, have the same nostalgia as 20 years ago when it comes to the Kennedys. If you were a Kennedy 20, 30 years ago, you probably would have became president. Or Ted Kennedy, he nearly took out an incumbent president. So, I don't know, though. We just got to see. But so far, this ad is definitely hitting nostalgia. That's the big thing that Kennedy has going for him.
Honest government. Their lives were tragically cut short, and America took a different path. Yet the possibility they foresaw is still alive, the America that almost was, and yet may be.
Yep, that's perfect. For a Democrat, this is what I'm talking about. He is focusing on what is popular with the Democrat platform, the more economic side of things, the free speech. He is what you would call a more classic liberal. He does want freedom of speech. He does want, a better America for all Americans, not just a select few. So I like this ad so far. It's pretty darn good for a Democrat. Now, there still is over a minute left, but I like it so far. It's way better than Biden's crap. It's not cringe. It's focused on, we got to go back to a time where we had a better America. I like that so far.
I've been fighting corporate corruption my entire life, but I understand that today the problem is much larger than a few crooked individuals.
Hitting the fact that he's against big companies, that's always been a Democrat thing. They've abandoned that the past, 10 years or so, but another thing that's always been popular with Democrats for 50 or so years has been they're anti-corporation. They're for the little guy. They're not for these big corporations, but recently they've taken a swing towards the big business side, but Kennedy's different. You can tell he is a different type of Democrat. He's not your modern day whack job that doesn't know what reality is. He is in reality.
The problem is a system that no longer serves the people, and a people who are so divided and so fearful that they are easily ruled. It's time to unlearn the reflexes of fear and blame and find ways to unify ourselves.
That's a good message. He didn't attack one side for the extremist stuff. He just said, look, both sides are at each other's throats. It's time we have a step back and say, we got to unify. That is a good message for a Democrat. Like it or not, a lot of people do not like either side's rhetoric on the radical socialists are going to knock down your doors if you don't go, all that stuff, or the MAGA extremists are going to break down your doors at 3 a.m. to force to give you birth. It's that kind of stuff. Nobody likes it. Reality is 80, or I should say 70% of Americans hate that stuff. And this is a message that does, I think, differentiate Kennedy from Biden. He is different in the fact that he's not attacking one side. He's just saying, look, we have a lot of violence in our streets. We have a divided country. We got to unify. Not by attacking one side or the other, but unify.
And turn our country around. I won't pretend to you that it will be easy, but I know what it will take. My father said it. Love, wisdom, and compassion toward one another. And that's where we need to start. We will...
Nostalgia. That's been the big thing. And that's going to be the biggest thing with Kennedy's campaign. And it's working here, but like I said, I don't know how much that's going to help, though. I don't know if it's going to get him 40 or 50% of the vote. It's going to give him a decent chunk, but maybe the strategy works and just run in the fact that you're a Kennedy, but I think he's finally getting into the part of this video where we got to the actual policy stuff.
Scale down the war machine and bring our resources home. We will rebuild our water systems, repair our roads, modernize our railroads, and clean up our environment. We will also clean up government and earn back the people's trust. We will end the secrecy, the censorship, and the surveillance. We will.
That was always a Democrat platform. This idea that it never was. 10 years ago, the Democrats, if Kennedy ran 10 years ago on this platform, he would have won easily. But the Democrats today, they're not the same. They don't want freedom of speech. They want mass surveillance. They want no free speech. They want, the government to knock down your door at 4 a.m. to make sure, you bought something for $50 and the IRS knows it. Nobody wants that. And the Democrats are a base of the pro-free speech crowd that exists, but I don't know if it's enough at this point. There's a lot of Democrats that, at this point in time, they're just out of it. They don't know what realities. They think orange is green. They think the sky is purple. And they think cats and dogs are reversed. That's the type of thing we're dealing with. And I don't think Kennedy will be able to run on this and win. I hate to say that, but how many Democrats are still the classic liberal type where they're pro-free speech? They're pro little guy, not for big corporations.
Will again be a fearless land of liberty.
The cost of freedom is always high, but Americans have always paid it.
We will face honestly the darker parts of our history, the genocide, the racism, not to shame or blame or punish, but to repair as best we can in a spirit of compassion and kindness toward all. I'm inviting all of you to join me to create an America that we can believe in and be proud of again. I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and I'm running for President of the United States.
Okay. I like that. That was a good end. That was perfect. He said, yes, we had bad things happen in our history, but he's not blaming one side for it. He's just saying, look, it happened. It sucks. It's awful what happened in the past, but we got to work to make sure those things never happen again. That is a perfect closing. And I do like the logo. I like the Kennedy, of course. That's going to be just Kennedy. They're not going to mention which Kennedy, but I like the logo. And I think that was a fairly solid announcement ad. Now, I wish there was a bit more policy part, but when he gets to the policy aspects, there's definitely going to be that's not going to end too well, I don't think, when you get to the sort of medicine part, but whatever. Either way, that was a good announcement, and he's the only Democrat that's running that I would consider voting for. Not, I would vote for him, but he's the only one that I would, take a second to be like, I may, but I'm not going to. I don't think I will vote for Kennedy unless he's going against Ass Hutchinson, for example. I think Kennedy is somebody that I hope wins a nomination because he's the only one that I can see on the field that can push the Democrat Party more to the center again. I mean, let's be real. Biden is far left on social issues, cultural issues. He's for big corporations. He's for this authoritarian state, essentially. Williamson's a nut job. Newsom is on something. He's not running, I guess, now. Bernie Sanders is Sanders. Kennedy's the only one that I think overall would push the Overton window just even a little bit to the right if he does win the nomination. I hope he does. And he is running the fact we are Kennedy Democrats. This is going to be interesting. I think he's going to do a lot better than people expect him to, but I just don't see how he wins a nomination. I just don't. But who knows? Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the Twitter account in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Guys, there will be a second video today. This is just kind of the last reaction video because you guys like it so much. So, yeah. Thank you so much. Godspeed to all of you.